Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading's Miami office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Monday, November 25th, 2013, and here's today's After the Bell Market Summary video brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. Want to first start off by taking a look to see how the indices closed the session out here for the day. The Dow closed up 7 3/4. The Nasdaq closed up close to 3 points, and the S&P 500 closed down 2 1/4. If we take a look at the breadth of the markets today, we had 3,491 issues declining on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the AMEX. We had 2,811 issues advancing on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the AMEX. Therefore, breadth was in favor of the bears today. A little bit mixed across the board. We saw some pockets of strength in the market, such as some technology stocks. In some technology stocks, we had Google up over 1 1/4%. Apple was up close to 1%. Also saw some nice action in Nvidia up 2%. The banks had another follow through day here again. Citigroup up over 1.5%, very strong today. Goldman Sachs up close to 1%. Bank of America up 1%. So we definitely had some decent action in the banks. That sector has been moving along pretty nice and steady. Some weakness in the utilities, a lot of weakness in the basic material stocks. Just to highlight a few: SLB down over 3%, Halliburton down over 3%, OXY down close to 2%, APA down 1 1/4%, APC, PXD, CLF, DO, HP, a whole bunch of weakness in this sector here in the basic materials. So keep an eye on that one, that sector going forward for tomorrow. We saw some decent action in the healthcare stocks, BIIB, MRK, MYL. So across the board, a lot of good stuff going on. If you take a look at the SPY now here, which is the S&P 500 ETF, down 18 cents, closing at 180.63. You can see we had a slight gap up this morning, but they faded the action to the downside. A lot of the heavy selling pressure came in around, I guess you can say around 3 o'clock or so. Looked like he had somebody that wanted to get out the market. There was really no news out that I saw on my end. It looks more or less just a little technical breakdown of the intraday pivot. Take a look at the 5-minute chart. I mean, there was no news out. It just seems like once we broke out of this little range, this is a 5-minute chart. The SPY, we have a nice little range that we were trading in through most of the day between 180. 180.85 and 181. Once we broke over 181, looks like we had some longs trapped right there. We broke back in the range, and we broke the low. I guess a lot of people got stopped out down here. So this, in my opinion, was just a little stop. Some sell stops getting hit. But back to the daily chart, everything still looks pretty much intact. We're still using these short-term moving averages of 5 and the 8 as the gauge. Again, we had this little move off of 175, bounced up, pulled back in to 176, broke out over the 177.5 level, pulled back in, made a higher pivot low in front of our prior resistance, now support, and has been moving up ever since last week, Wednesday's low. Keep an eye on today's lows, and then keep an eye on that high of the day around 181.20. Remember, there's no resistance above us, so we don't know which area we're gonna find a resistance at until the market creates resistance. Of course, you can use different tools such as Fibonacci extensions, which we talked about in last week's video. You can use upward channels, maybe go down to your smaller time frames and look at some of the intraday kind of intermediate term channels that you can find on the 60-minute chart and so forth. Let's go ahead and take a look at the triple Qs. The Nasdaq 100 ETF up 20 cents. All right, made new highs again today, new 52-week highs, closing at 84.19. Not much volume in the market today. Again, it is a shortened week from the holiday, so you could expect volumes to start getting lighter and lighter as we get closer to Thursday, as people are going to start leaving, of course, to go to their family's house or friends, whichever they're going to, and whichever house they're going to celebrate Thanksgiving. But again, Thursday, markets closed for Thanksgiving. We have Fridays, market closes at 1 p.m. Wednesdays most likely going to be slow. So I think tomorrow's the last day where we could have some decent action intraday. Then aside from that, it's probably going to be choppy and slow. So keep a lookout for that. Again, you're going to have your stocks popping up left and right here and there, but the market overall is going to be pretty quiet unless there's some type of news or catalyst that comes out. Triple Qs, again, keep an eye on today's highs, 84.40. Then keep an eye on this 84 level, which was prior resistance here last week. Monday by the opening price, and the week before that on that Friday. We'll see what happens from there. IWM showed some nice relative strength today compared to the other indices, up 14 cents, uh, trading above 114.5. We broke over 112 for a little bit, but again, this is another index making new. This is another index right here. Well, this index I meant to say is making all-time highs. Let me take a look at the Dow Jones, and I can say this is another index making all-time highs, which it is. Dow Jones, another index making new all-time highs right here. So you have the Dow making new all-time highs, the IWM making new all-time highs. If we take a look at the S&P 500 again, the SPY made new all-time highs right here. So we have the Nasdaq, of course, which has a lot of resistance above it from the tech bubble sell-off. But if these markets continue to go higher, I think you can expect the Nasdaq to, of course, follow along with the other indices. Let's go and take a look at gold, because gold sold off today, actually sold off overnight going into the open. Then we had a nice little intraday reversal on gold, formed a nice little bottoming tail, and anybody that was short the past couple of days, they're pretty much in a losing position. If you got short maybe on this day on the low, or if you got short these 2 days, you're maybe feeling some slight pain right now, as you can see we closed above the high. We closed just right at the high of Thursday, and we actually flashed above those highs. So some stops could have been hit as well. But either way, we flashed below 1240. We closed above it. Nice little bottoming tail, and this could be what we call a little bear trap from today's action. We also had this key downward trend line that you can watch on the chart from this little pivot high that we have right here. Connect this little low, connect this pivot high, and you can see we have this trend line. So from the trend line resistance, that's going to be around 12. That's going to be like around 1258, right in front of that declining 8-day simple moving average around 1260. Gold miners, GDX, they made a nice little reversal intraday. We actually had one of my friends call this out to me on Facebook, and I was able to mention it to the chat room. But you had GDX made a nice little reversal. Take a look at the 15-minute chart. You have your little move off the 2160 level. It bounced right up, pulled back in. Then from that, it was off to the races. You can see similar patterns across the board. Of course, SLW, which is not a gold miner, it's a silver miner. This one actually made a nice little bull flag off the little double bottom bounce right here. This was another trade, SLW, that one of the traders in the room called out, as I was away from my screens at that point in time. But again, these names may have put in some short-term bottoms today, as we saw that weakness in gold, and we saw these different miners get bought up like around the late afternoon. So we'll keep an eye on this sector, GDX. As far as gold goes, let's finish talking about this here. You want to watch today's lows, a little bottoming tail low down there, which could be a possible pivot low around 1226. And then if we break over this 1260 here, we can actually maybe get some people looking to put some money back into gold, as these stocks are down a lot. These gold miners are down a lot. Gold's pulled back a lot. And again, could have some shorts trapped right there. Let's take a look at silver. I know a lot of you guys out there like the silver as well. So let's take a look at silver futures, which closed at $20.10 an ounce. And if this silver could get back above 2050, I would like that, because then you can see that we have a potential bear trap for some people right here. If they were short below 2050, we get back above it, then I would say take out these little pivot highs right here around, I would just say take out 21, really. Then we can have a nice little trap right here for anybody short below 2050. Keep an eye on that, right? Keep an eye on the silver. We break below, if we do get a pop-up, you want to watch SLW, just to name a few. CDE is another silver miner, PAAS. Then you have EXK, which is a cheap one that some people out there like to trade. But again, we need some more clues here. Does not mean, just because they made a little intraday reversal bounce today, does not mean they're going to make a full turn. So just keep an eye on them. Let's go ahead and take a look at the US dollar /DX dollar futures, trying to get back above that 81 bid. Again, if it holds above 81, we may see a move back above, say, 81.60 and up to 82.50. We break below 80.50, we can maybe see a move down. Euro USD. Alright, Euro USD breaking over this 136 here would be interesting, and then breaking below this 134 area would be interesting right now. Just a lot of chop action between these two levels here. Not really much I'm seeing there, the euro. And let's go ahead and take a look at the VIX, and we'll take a look at some key stocks. Of course, we also just want to make sure that we take a look at the general market, see what's going on. Then take a look at the VIX. The VIX below 1350, not too worried about it there. when the VXX, take a look at this. When the VXX popped up intraday on that selling that came in, it did hold a little bit of bid action. Let's go to a 5-minute chart. It did hold up a little bit of a bid. Usually this gets faded right back down easily, but it didn't do that today, so we'll keep an eye on this here. Again, I'm not sure why the market just sold off like that. Could have just been a big player, big institution selling some S&P futures contracts. It's not like it was the other day where we had Carl Icahn come out and say something about the GDP or the growth of the economy, and the market sold off in the last like hour and a half of the day or so. But let's go and take a look at some key stocks. Starting off with Amazon. Amazon once again making new all-time highs. The stock has been one of the best performers in the Nasdaq, along with some other names such as Google and some other names, Netflix out there. But again, Amazon is the market leader right now in the tech sector, along with Google, I would say, and look, looks pretty good. We've been tracking Amazon ever since it broke out this little downward channel that we highlighted to you guys back in our videos back that we had in May. You can go ahead and watch those. But again, this has been a stellar performer for the year, and we're coming into the holiday season and Christmas. You can look for some people may be interested in buying some more Amazon. Google made new all-time highs today. All right, Google hit a high of 1053.19. Look for this to get some fall through. You do have a nice little base you can work off, or a nice little stop area you can work off of this little 1020. You have a nice little up bar right here, sideways consolidation. It got a little bit choppy, and then we broke out today. Should get some fall through action as long as nothing changes. If we break back below this level right here, which is, let's see, give me 1 second, my software just froze up. In other words, if we break back below 1035 or so, I would expect maybe Google to try to pull back towards that 10. If we break back below 1040 and hold below that level, we could expect maybe Google to try to pull back in to like 1030, maybe even come back to test that pivot down there at 1020. It's always risky buying a stock, of course, making new all-time highs like this. But again, this thing may have some momentum in it. Qualcomm came out with some news today. I think they violated some type of regulation in China. I'm not sure. I talked about this in the midday market update video that you can find on our YouTube channel, My Wall Street TV. But again, we gave out some levels on Qualcomm this morning in our chat room, mywallstreettv.com. I had gave the fellas, actually we have some lady traders in there as well. So I gave the ladies and gents some levels to watch. 71 was a low of the day. We had 71 as support one. S1 was 71. 70-90 area. S2 was 70-40. Guess what? It bounced exactly off at 71 and rallied all the way up. As some traders made some decent returns in that stock today based off our analysis that we did with them pre-market. So again, make sure you join us in the room pre-market. Have a lot of good analysis to share with you guys. Qualcomm bounced. Tesla had some news out this morning. That stock got a nice little bounce off the 120 level, 121 area, like we mentioned on our Facebook page, Wall Street Trading, and then it sold right back off and closed near the lows. So it gapped up, rallied up a little bit, sold off near the lows, and it's back at this 200-day exponential moving average right at 120 or so. If it breaks that moving average, guys, we can see another move down to the 109.44 level, which is a simple 200-day moving average on Tesla. Netflix had a nice little pop about the gate. Again, not really seeing much here. This thing's probably just going to chug up higher. As you have a lot of people, I'm pretty sure they need to get even, let it move up a bit. Then they're going to try to look to get out of it. Maybe if it goes back up here, or who knows? Maybe it just continues to rally back up towards these highs. That would be kind of hard to picture the amount of motion and selling that this thing got that day, that the stock got that day. I would keep an I would keep an eye on this key trend line and on this level right here, the 340 area, 341 area. And then let's go ahead and talk about Apple. We've been mentioning that Apple's in a no trade zone for us, even though we don't even trade, we just watch it to gauge the tech sector. Some of the traders trade it, but me personally, I don't trade it. I do watch it though, or sometimes I will play a little call options on it if I want to. But Apple still trading in the range between 512 and 526 inside this big sell bar. In the lower range part of the sell bar, not really seeing much there. Again, we like the bounce in Qualcomm. Zynga looks pretty decent. The little cheap stock, if you guys are interested, or you guys like to trade these little cheapies, Zynga's looking pretty interesting. GA, which is a Chinese play version of Zynga, got bought out today for $11.45, 11.45 cents a share. All right, they got acquired, if I'm not mistaken. So that just tells you maybe what could happen to Zynga if some company comes out looking to buy Zynga. GA, that was the name of that stock there. the symbol of that stock, excuse me. Walmart had some news today. Here, WMT, new CEO, youngest in their history for the company. Let's see what he can do. Stock loved the news, traded higher. As far as some weak stocks, go also real quick here. Biotechs were strong. BIIB, MYL, MRK. Alcoa got upgraded by Goldman Sachs this morning. That stock traded higher. As far as some weak stocks go, we always want to make sure we watch both stocks, weak and strong, in case the market sells off. We have some stocks to hit. Potash is looking a little bit weak here. Bring up the volume. Not, of course, not much volume today, but this thing has been trying to rally after gapping down, and more or less it's been trading in the range for the past 3 months, 2 months or so, between 31 and 33.20. If this thing starts to hold below 31, look for to try to sell back down easily to 30 and possibly come back down towards the 29 area. We'll be watching this one closely tomorrow. Taking a look at the sector, CF, this stock is looking a little bit tired up here. Monsanto showed some relative strength this morning. This is the strongest stock in that sector, MON. Then you have MOS, which showed a little bit of relative strength this morning, but then started fading back down. What else? Facebook can't can't end the video without talking about Facebook. Facebook, after making a massive recovery from its $18 price back here in September of 2012 last year, rallied all the way to 55, and now it's back at 44. A lot of people that I know, or a lot of people that were in the stock when the IPO, were stuck between the prices of, say, around 38, between this 44, 45 area. They had a chance to get out flat or get out with a profit of 55, and now it's back at 44. This stock could fade all the way back down to, I would say, 39, 40 area. This prior resistance broke out. So there's people that are involved in the stock from 39.28, that little momentum breakout right here when that volume actually picked up a bit and started picking up here. All right, so I would assume they could bring it all the way back down to 39.28. We do have some moving average support down here at 43.11. CRM was weak today. Pandora was weak today as well. LinkedIn. So a lot of weakness in social media stocks. DO, energy space. Take a look at DO. Triggers a short sell tomorrow if it breaks below today's lows. I like this name for a short. Definitely going to keep an eye on this tomorrow. Halliburton, one of the stronger names in the OIH sector, showed some weakness today. And then Rig, which has had a nice rally, has been pulling back ever since it rallied all the way from 47 to 55 on that earnings report. So aside from that, folks, have a great day. I'll catch you guys tomorrow afternoon for the midday market update. You can also check me out in the chat room, mywallstreettv.com. Have a great night, folks. Cheers.